and he was having a rough time in the war. But basically, in the end, he won, and everyone wanted him to be king. By the way, people wanted him to be a monarch for this new world. But what happened was he said, no, I can't be doing any of that. He suggested, along with Jefferson and Franklin, that, excuse me, he suggested that they branch the government and make it harder to pass law in order to save liberty. They also try, in order to branch the government and make it work in a way, they continued the Congress, or what was the Continental Congress, and they continued it in our current government. And but Washington was a president that was very humble. In his farewell address, he knew that political parties would play a bad role if they were to ever come into existence. And it's really funny, but soon after he left, I think it was after he left, they created the Whig Party and other parties like that. I think the Federalist Party, that kind of thing. But I don't know, there was something really instinctual with him, something he could tell what should be done with government. And he was a minimal kind of guy. And then you have someone like Lincoln come along, and Lincoln was a man that was authoritarian. He was a guy that wanted to expand the government, and you could see that when you come down to the Civil War. When you look at the Civil War, he was executing people. He didn't respect the states' rights to secede. And, so they created a war off of it. And in order to help promote the war, the slaves were freed by the Emancipation Proclamation. I don't think he really intended to free the slaves, but he did the right thing. I'm not telling you that that's the wrong thing. I'm just saying that it was more of a political thing for him. He used the force of the presidency incorrectly, because most of the powers are supposed to lie with the Congress, not the president. The president's supposed to just execute law. He's not supposed to actually do much, Yeah, so I guess that's my take on Washington versus Lincoln. One was very pro-government, one was not. Washington I compare a lot with Jefferson. Though the funny thing is, Jefferson, once he got into government, he was not the same man. He was the one who created the Declaration of Independence, or drafted it, and I believe he also signed the Constitution. But once he got into government, he created, what's the name of it? The Alien Sedition Acts, I believe. Or is that Madison? Ah, man, now I'm getting confused. Oh, no, there was something going on the sea, some kind of piracy type of thing. Ah, I forget the name of it. But yeah, all right, I'm going to shut up since I forget. So, but anyway, Washington, Lincoln, two very different people, about 100 years apart in presidency. So, yeah, how much time we have? Half an hour? No, how much time do we have?
25.
Okay. So, what else can we talk about? So I posted my the pilot onto YouTube. JOSDA1000, that's my username. Just like my my address, JOSDA1000. Yeah, what else is going on? Oh yeah, so I got a new camera and I used it for the intro, and I did that in order to I wanted to test it basically so I could take trips, and I can edit on my computer at home so things can be done quicker. But what else can I talk about? Oh yeah, there's the idea of so the Constitution is being trampled on, basically. Let's talk about the 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment is supposed to be about states' rights. Oh yeah, I have the 10th Amendment out there. Yeah, thanks, Sarah. So the 10th Amendment, it's basically it's just about rights for the states, and if anything is not specifically laid out in the Constitution for Congress, then the right lies with the states. Now, the idea of secession from the Union is supposed to be an actual right for the state because they voluntarily went into the Union in the first place. So they should be able to get out if they want. Now, here's a great example of why, or the example, I'd say, of why Lincoln was just totally wrong. Because the states, if they want to get out, then they can. It doesn't matter if they were one of the 13 colonies originally or not. They should be able to get out. They should be able to do as they please. That's what a free society is all about, you know. So if Massachusetts, for example, wanted to, for example, they nullified the federal gay marriage thing, you know, by making their own law saying that gay marriage is legal here. So that's one great way of asserting your right as a state. There's an inherent right to the state to secede from the Union. So, for example, you know, South Carolina was the first to leave originally, and they should have been able to stay out. They created their own presidency. Ironically, the president, his name was Jefferson Davis, but it's okay. I won't hold him against it. So, but the funny thing, you know, I was against, you know, in the larger picture, the states were wrong in enslaving people. However, theoretically, they had the right to do so because it didn't say so in the Constitution. I'm just saying. Just saying. So, Vermont has that movement going on, you know, the secession movement, and parts of Texas do as well, and then there's that Free State Project in New Hampshire, and you know, all these other movements or whatever, you know, a few of them are about secession. And well, I'll tell you one thing, it will be hard for them to get out because we're basically, you know, for Vermont, for example, you know, they're going to have a hard time getting out if they actually do try to get out because they're crammed right in between the United States and Canada. And Canada is all about federalism as well.